Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting, April 23rd, 2018. Before we get started, we'll open with invocation and Pledge of Allegiance.
Father God, we come before you and we ask for your blessings. We thank you for our community and the people willing to serve in it. But tonight we ask you for wisdom and discernment as we determine how we go about governing the town. As always, we pray to you in the manner we were each taught. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So we have two remote participants here for tonight's call. Joe Bonavita and Selectman Surface.
How did this get out of order?
I don't have Joe's, I might have David's.
Anybody have Joe's cell phone?
Six 899-02. So
Hi David, it's Janet. I'm just gonna put you on speaker.
yeah, that's a good idea. Give everybody a cell phone, right?
On the air.
Just let it call.
617. 8.
No, we'll just take a cab.
So do we need to do a roll call vote?
Yeah, I think we do. We have to do roll call for remote, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
For each thing that we vote on, yes.
Hi.
Joe?
But not to open
Yep.
the meeting.
Hi.
Okay, we're upstairs now,
Just announce
Okay.
that they're both here.
All
and
right, great.
just say your name and that you're on remote.
David's on remote. Yep, Joe Bonavita remotely.
Okay, great. All right, so first item here that we're gonna take up is fire chief contract proposal. So if you want to come up, chief. Yep. So all right. So just for the board's background, we did meet, Joe and I, along with Mike, to review a proposed contract for the chief, as we had agreed on in one of the open sessions. So you should have it in your packet, the agreement, the draft agreement, I guess. And I will open it up for discussion.
I'll start, Mr. Chair, with the minutes of the March 12th executive meeting, where I did believe that we asked two members of the Board of Selectmen to act at for us to a tentative agreement. But I thought that we would be getting back together as a board in executive session to go over that agreement, that we weren't giving at that vote the go-ahead for the two to come up with the agreement for the board. We were asking them to negotiate for the board and come back to the board. And I mentioned this at one of our last contracts that we had for the union in front of us, that we as a board had never gone back to executive to discuss it, and I'm disappointed in the way it's come forward to us.
Well, it's a draft, so that's what it means by a draft contract, is that it hasn't been finalized,
Agreed.
and it's open for discussion. I think we asked the chief if he would, if he would want to speak about it in open session. I don't, does that bother you, chief? No. So, I mean, he's given us the go-ahead to talk about
Okay.
it. So, did you guys have any questions about the document? specifically anything in there, or?
Well, there's many changes and a rather large pay increase. There's some changes to vacation, and I would have much rather been able to go over it as a board.
That's what we're doing tonight,
As
Gary.
to, pardon me?
That's what we're doing tonight. We're
Yes,
reviewing
yes,
this tonight.
okay, I mean, we, in a way, some things are getting added. Now, I guess the question would be for Mike on that, is this putting it, what's the proper word, just in with the rest of the contracts that I guess such as yourself, the police chief might have as to the vacation, personal and sick leave, or is this, you know,
Yes, it is. When somebody has a professional position, we take into consideration, it's not as if they're starting from day one. We give them credit for past experience and past time in the profession. So we don't ask people to start with 1 or 2 weeks vacation when they come on board.
yeah, and I don't think that the last contract had that in there, did it?
Right, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think it did, no.
No, so this is adding some personal and sick leave. And that's the type of thing that we've been trying to take out of some of our, make headway on some of our other contracts, be it personal or union.
I think it reaches,
I got the-
it maxes out, where he's, with the exception of sick leave, until he hits the maximum. I mean, there is,
I mean, I see that it only adds up, I believe I'm reading it right, to over the length of, let's say, any amount of time that the chief is here, to only 3 weeks, for the duration of the agreement. That I'm talking about the stuff that can be carried over. Can that be done with any other, do we allow that in any other contracts?
well, the police chief is maxed out. He can't get any more.
No, what I'm talking about here is that I believe that this allows them to carry over from each year. If you, the way I'm reading it, no, I'm reading this as vacation leave. Section 5 on page 2.
I have unlimited carryover if I don't use it.
Yeah, so as far as you know, we could be starting a trend here that could go into everybody else's contract, if we want to try to bring everybody together.
Well, we have 3 contracts. One is maxed out, and
Now, remember, I'm not going on sick leave, I'm talking on vacation. I'm not saying I'm for it or against it, I'm just bringing up questions that typically we'd be doing, not here and like we're doing this tonight.
the only action we've taken was to limit sick leave with all employees. We've capped it.
Yes. Yeah.
We haven't capped.
And so if I'm hearing you right, what
Vacation.
you're going on your own personal contract, that you can't carry over any vacation. And so you're saying really,
No, I'm
It's
saying
a-
I can carry over unlimited vacation.
you can carry over unlimited vacation.
Right. But I
That's written in there?
use.
Hold on, so, the point tonight is to discuss the contract for the chief. It's not to talk about what other employees are making. That's not part of this discussion.
You could say that, yes, but I mean, one of the things that that has been in front of us recently is trying to bring others in line with others, and you're probably gonna hear about that type of thing when you go through section 4 on salary, that we're trying to bring them in line with other agreements. So if we can talk about it for one part of it, you're saying we can't talk about it on the others?
All I'm saying.
I mean, I may be wrong, I mean, maybe you're not
If you have
gonna
a
talk
question-
about it.
If you have a question about the vacation that's in the document, then I think that's fine. If you think it's too much, too little.
I'm just
But-
trying to compare it, Mr. Chair, to other contracts and to find out. Now, from what I've heard from Mr. Farrell, he says in his contract, he can carry over unlimited vacation, then maybe this is a move in a good direction by putting it in there, because it's limiting it to only 3 weeks for the duration of the agreement.
I get 6
So-
weeks vacation, I use every day. I use it all up. I'm not, I need a break.
I guess what I'm getting to is that, you know, many towns, Georgetown itself, on the police department, we've sat here, we had to create a special account, because when people get near retirement, we don't have the money to replace them and cover the length that they may have accrued. So I guess that's why I'm questioning this, and is this, in the way I'm reading it, because we haven't had time to discuss it, Mr. Chair. So you said we're doing it here. Is this perhaps bringing it into a better line by having this here? Where if what I'm reading, it's only, it can only carry over 3 weeks, then it won't add up to a possible 3 months. Am I reading that correct?
Well, it's a
It's a 3-year contract.
3-year contract, so we could have ostensibly 9 weeks then.
No, well, it
Vacation carry
reads
over.
no more than a maximum of 3 weeks for the duration of the agreement.
Right, okay, well,
One vacation.
then, yeah,
Mr. Chairman,
that's
can I stick my 2 cents on that?
limiting
It's
it.
highly unlikely that he's not going to take a vacation in 3 years. So, I mean, giving him 3 weeks a year, which is pretty standard for a professional. If he doesn't use it, he can carry it over. There's extenuating circumstances. But I mean, what's the likelihood that he's not going to take 3 weeks vacation in the course of a year? Mostly everybody takes at least 2.
I'm just, David,
No, I'm just throwing that out as a.
yeah, no, I mean, I'm not even seeing on here how many weeks he gets for the tenure. I'm just seeing this part that he can carry over.
Right, wasn't the number 3 weeks, Mike?
Yeah,
Am
it's
I
20
crazy?
It was 20 days.
20 days.
Hey, I can't hear you. Say it again?
4 weeks vacation.
It was 4 weeks, right? Okay, well that's pretty standard stuff. I mean, what's the likelihood that we're going to be exposed for 12 weeks of vacation pay
Are we,
at the end of this contract? Highly unlikely.
No, because this only allows for 3 weeks total carryover.
Right. So so the max out of those 12 weeks, right? I get it. Okay. I was a little confused on the language.
no, David, the way I'm reading it, I mean, it might be something we want to put in others.
Well, I mean, then we address it at that point in time. I mean, this is a
Well, I
contract
mean,
based on its own
here,
merit, no?
it's the first time it's in front of us, and we're told to address it now. That's what I'm
Okay, I
doing.
mean,
I'm not trying to bully anybody, I'm trying to understand something, and this is the first time that we've got to do it. Because
Okay.
like I said,
No, I'm just right. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm just making my point, though, that that it's highly. If you only could carry over 3 weeks, it probably it would only most likely be that in that last year if there's a major incident.
Actually, he's only allowed to carry over 1 week each year.
yes, and max at 3. That's what I'm reading.
Okay, right. Okay.
And the 1.2 days per month, 15 days per year sick leave, capping out at 150 is what everybody else caps out at.
Okay, so it just wasn't in here.
It used to be 180 days.
Yeah, and I don't think that, well, I'm not even sure if anything, if that was in the prior one. Yeah, see, he didn't have, I'll stop there for now.
You sure? Okay. Doug?
No, I don't have any questions about this. I thought that maybe we'd handle the salary a little bit different, but I don't really have an issue.
Yeah, if I could, so when we met with the chief, I mean, I think we can all agree, we got a great deal, when he came here. And he's performed above and beyond in my eyes, and he's on call. Any point in time we have an issue, we call him, he's there. It may seem like a steep increase. It is, because we paid a discount for him when he came on board. So he's up to market right now, and we've reviewed other towns, we've looked at what other chiefs make, and I think he's in line now, as well he should be. I think the vacation, that's standard across the board. I don't think that there's anything else in the agreement that's over the top. I think we had like some allowance for your uniforms, which is pretty standard. So, did you, Joe or David, did you guys have any other things?
Yeah, if I could, Steve.
Yeah.
I want to echo what Steve said. That yes, it is a major increase. I think we all know that, but I think that's more of an element that we had such a great deal here to start off with. If you look at other towns and what they're paying their chiefs, this pretty much brings Chief Mitchell in line. And my attitude about it is, when you have someone that is very involved in the community, that he's proven his stripes, he's obviously has the talent to get this job done and done well. That you bring him up to speed on comparable salaries, and when we talk about those comps, by the way, for the board. Not only do we look at other towns, we look at other towns with the same population, and towns that were close to us as well. So the salary itself, we did our research on. It is in line, based on the wages, in the studies that have been done and what the state has sent out, to us. This is not. This is not out of whack. I have to stress that it is absolutely not out of whack. Again, drastic increase, yes, but it's only because we had such a bargain for the first 3 years of his tenure. So, Chief Mitchell, reiterated to Steve and I that he is very happy in Georgetown, that he intends on staying there until he hangs up his hat. I certainly think the town will welcome that, because they're very happy, as am I, with his performance. So thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to point out, if I could, Mr. Chair, that part of the chief's pay comes from...
Guys, I got a boarded plane, so talk to you later. Bye.
Have a good flight.
Okay, thanks, David.
Part of the chief's pay derives from the ambulance fund. So it's not just out of the general fund.
50%.
50% of it is.
Right.
Good point, Doug.
Okay. So, can I entertain a motion to approve?
Well, for the purpose of discussion, I'll make a motion to approve the contract for Fire Chief Fred Mitchell Jr. To begin July 1st, 2018 for 3 years. I don't know, what's the date in 3 years? June 30th, 2021.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Second by Bonavita. Any further discussion?
Sure. I echo everything, Chief. I support you.
Thank you.
To me, a lot of the questions I asked, we should have been doing together in a negotiating type of atmosphere like we do with others. But we've chosen to do it this way for some reason. But, you know, as you know, the last time around, I supported you coming, but I could not support the contract. And with this type of a salary increase, I can't. I mean, the taxpayers of this town can only raise their taxes a certain amount. And I do realize a certain amount of it comes from the ambulance, but I think that there's other ramifications to me, to this type of an increase that scare me. And so while I support you, Chief, I cannot support the contract as written.
Okay.
Well, I'd just like to say that since Chief Mitchell's been here, I think he's done a bang-up job. I see him all over town, and,
Yeah.
no, really, he's all over. And this whole lockbox program, I don't know if it started with you, but
Yeah, we
it started
yeah,
with you.
through,
That whole
through our
lockbox
safe,
program for the
senior
senior
safe, yep.
citizens is
Yep.
a really good idea. And I think that you've done a good job
Thank you.
with the fire department as a whole, and I'm glad that you've proven us correct in the decision we made to hire you.
Thank you.
Great. If there is no further discussion, all those in favor, yeah, this needs to be a roll call vote, Joe?
Joe?
Bonavita, aye.
Dawes, aye.
Sadler, aye.
Fowler, nay.
Congratulations.
I appreciate
We are happy
the,
to have you for
Yeah,
Thank you,
another
I'm
3
happy
years.
to be here and looking forward to the next 3 years and, more importantly, the support from the board and your kind words. Thank you, and just gonna continue to move forward and look forward to the next 3 years being in Georgetown. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank you for all you do.
Yeah, no, I
By all
appreciate
means.
it.
And the monthly reports are
Yeah,
great.
you're welcome, no problem. Yeah, thanks, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Chris Rube's here for the.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, CPA grant agreement for the Historical Society for approval.
No, I think we want to do that.
Do you want to do that one?
I don't think we got anybody here for that, or do we? No.
Oh, we don't. Okay. I'm sorry.
No, but
We'll skip over that.
Chris signed the contract already.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so maybe you want to do the box.
We
Okay.
negotiated it over the email.
All right,
Okay.
we can
It's,
take
it's
it.
a, it's a standard, I just literally just copied the last
right.
agreement they had.
Okay. All right, then
We can
let's
vote
take
on
up,
Does anybody need to be here to?
No,
No, because
No,
it's
you
already
can- you-
signed by the
okay,
people receiving the
they've
grant.
already agreed to it.
all right, so we just need a motion?
Motion and a vote, yeah.
So, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the CPA grant agreement for the Historical Society, for the Historical Society.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Well, this grant is for $12,000 for the, what is it, the Brocklebank Museum, for restoring and rehabilitating.
Painting, basically.
Painting, you know, yeah. Which we have to take care of our historical buildings, so I'm glad we have the CPA funds to do that with. That's all I have to say.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? This has to be roll call vote.
Joe?
Bonavita, aye.
Dawes, aye.
Sadler, aye.
Fowler, aye.
Okay, passes. That's great. The next item is, Boxford, Georgetown, MOU, border to Boston Trail. All right.
Rail trail.
MOU?
Memorandum of Understanding.
Ah, okay, perfect. Awesome.
Now, where the heck is that?
Welcome, Chris.
Just
If
before
you
the
can
chief's
give your name
contract.
and your-
Chris Roop, I'm the clerk of the Rec Path Committee.
Awesome. Thanks for coming tonight. Why don't you tell us a bit about what you have for us tonight?
The trail is moving along through various processes. When Stantec acquired FST, Fay Spofford Thorndike engineering firm, it required a new contract from the state to be implemented. Also, the state changed a considerable number of their procedural rules, which caused a lot of, actually caused a price increase more than 100%. They ultimately agreed that since it was their changes that caused the increase, they agreed to pay for those increases so that it would not increase our commitment. And the original monies that were set aside and put into the contract for the development of the design of the trail stayed the same for us. So what this is, it's a new arrangement. Georgetown has two trail projects. There's the south side of town, the north side of town. This one is specifically for the south side of town. In order for the state to agree to any trail, it needs to start and end at a public way. So what has happened is that with the southern trail, we're starting at Georgetown Road in Broxford, and it's coming up to the center of town.
Okay.
So it involves any development work needs to be partially paid for by Boxford.
Okay.
So that's what this understanding, memorandum of understanding is a contract between Georgetown and Boxford. Georgetown is taking the role as the lead municipality in terms of the billing between FST, the state, so that we get the invoice from FST, or excuse me, from Stantec now, that gets approved by the state project. We pay that bill, and then we immediately turn around and we submit a request for reimbursement at 100%.
Okay.
So why they do this, I'm not quite sure, but that's the way that they've set up their system. What it means for the town is that we need to have essentially about a 3-month float so that we put the money out. We get money from Boxford, 14% from Boxford. We take our money, their money, we pay 100% of the bill, and then we get 100% reimbursement, and then we pay Boxford back the amount that they put in.
Okay.
And that's essentially what this agreement says.
Okay. And then the outlay, the initial outlay, do we have that, Mike? Yeah.
The overall,
Yeah,
um,
the initial outlay, is that from the CPA, is that right?
yeah, we have funds for our portion, for
Yep.
Georgetown's portion of the funds required. It's coming from CPA authorizations, which
Okay.
we've had for a number of years.
Gotcha, okay.
So, the north side of the trail, where does, that goes from
From center of town
West Main to?
up to Church Street in Newbury.
Okay,
And we have another memorandum of understanding with Newbury, which they haven't returned yet.
are we the lead on that too?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
because of the fact that we're 75% or 80% of the trail, it only makes sense that we're the lead
But it
community.
has a larger size, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any questions?
Well, so if I heard right, the reason, one of the reasons we're joining, I know we joined with a lot of communities overall to get, I think, the TIP funding and that. But if what I heard you say, it's gotta end at an open street, like right now, Boxford has ended, they've done some work up the Georgetown Road. I know there's some signs up there and that. So that's why you're saying this section of it is with Boxford, that it's got it. In other words, Boxford couldn't have just done theirs and stopped in the woods, I guess is what I'm hearing you say. Okay.
And we
Yeah.
can't, we
And neither
originally
can we.
proposed having the southern terminus at Camp Dennison. And we looked at that, and it would have actually cost us more.
Because you would have had to do some connecting
We would have had
trails,
to
yeah.
essentially put a road through the forest
Yeah,
to the driveway, back to Nelson Street, and it was less good of an option than continuing on into Boxford for 1,500 feet or whatever it is.
yeah, it's not a long ways, but
It's not.
the paths that are there at Camp Dennison they'll probably stay open and
Absolutely.
somewhat improved. Now, I had another question, but I've lost it so this one engineering firm taking over the other isn't costing us anymore, I guess. Now, how does it work? Is it the CPA funds pay basically the engineering, and then the TIP will pay the rest when it starts construction? Is that how it's
Correct.
working?
Right.
Okay.
The CPA funding is available to the committee to get the
Yeah.
design work done and to do any other ancillary work that needs to be done, like legal fees and things like that we're using to further the trail.
And we're still on budget there as far as you know. I know that the CPA funds have quite a bit of
Right.
quite a bit of cash sitting in an account, I
There
believe,
is
on
indeed.
that. I'm trying to think, we call it an app, I think, it's a CPA app, such and such, I don't know a particular number.
040
But, yeah.
at the moment.
Okay, 040, thank you, okay.
Yeah, basically, we are holding in reserve majority of our funds right at the moment, because it may turn out that we need to do something that is going to require a chunk of money in order to get past a particular hurdle. I don't have anything specific in mind right this moment, but we're trying to leave our options open at this point.
Okay, yeah.
And we are moving forward. We've got a number of major, things coming up, like getting the 99-year lease with National Grid, and getting through. We're almost at the 25% design stage of the design development. We've got environmental permitting. We've got to get to 75%, and then we go into a whole new round of activities. So we're moving forward. It's a whole lot slower than anyone ever anticipated.
Well, it's not necessarily Georgetown's fault.
Not at all.
You rely on Merrimack Valley planning to get the TIP funding and that, and they keep moving it backwards just so that everybody knows because there's a lot of people waiting for this, and it's unfortunate the way it's, we were supposed to be at a certain point, and they dropped us to start a whole new one in other towns and cities, so.
So we do have a commitment for the construction funding. We don't have a commitment on the timing. That gets renegotiated. It's a very
Yeah.
fluid, and having sat in on those meetings, I can understand that they take people who are the most ready at the time, and they say, you're programmed for this. They're also trying to make sure that they use the maximum amount of funds available to them in any given year. So they keep juggling.
I still see this as in the future, I think, a big boost for Georgetown.
Absolutely.
And I see many different ways in economic development that getting this done will help the town overall.
And if the town has any leverage with National Grid, it would be a good time to put it in place.
We need to get you some
Because,
better parking.
Because they're notorious on their lack of motivation toward responding, getting anything done.
Gotcha.
So we need to have that 99-year lease with National Grid. They have said in the past that the license agreement that we currently have is the model for that lease. We've got, Copeland and Page is approaching them now to start up the negotiations on getting the lease done. We'll see how well they respond. I'm hoping that they will just move forward and it'll be a, easy transition to the lease, but they don't have a lot of incentive to work with us.
Well, we appreciate all the time and commitment that you put into this, and, yeah, I mean, this is great, so, do we wanna get a motion? Yeah.
I'll do, Mr. Chair, I move that for the Board of Selectmen to sign the memorandum of understanding by and between the towns of Georgetown and Boxford for the Boston to Border Trail as presented tonight on 4/23/2018.
Second.
Motion's been made in the second. Any further discussion?
I have a question. If I may?
Sure.
Vincent Milano, 7 Husband Circle. So what's the surface of the trail? Is it just dirt? Or what's the planned surface?
Currently, the surface that it's being used right now is just as is, it's
Yeah.
undeveloped. The state has proposed a paved trail, and there's some some considerations, especially on the northern portion of the trail, for areas of pervious.
So gravel, some sort of gravel or something?
Either that or there's some pervious pavement as well,
Okay.
which are under consideration. What we've done as a committee is design, have the design done both for a hard surface and for a stone dust pavement, paving, so that it could be done in either way. There's environmental considerations that need to be brought
Both
to
way,
it.
right,
But
both ways.
ultimately, it's gonna be the state that calls it.
So we live up on Parker River Landing, which is the north side, and I hear dirt bikes running up and down that path all the time.
Illegal.
And if you go, they dig it all up. So if it's not a gravel or hard surface, it's not gonna last very long.
Right, and those are operating illegally, because the license that we have with National Grid does not allow for any motorized vehicles.
So who would chase them? I mean, I don't, I never felt the need to call the police, but you can hear them. There's
Yeah.
probably 3 or 4 running up there on weekends.
They have for years.
Yeah,
All right, so some sort of hard surface, I think, is appropriate.
yeah.
That was the reason for the question. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Fowler, aye.
I think Joe dropped off.
Did you drop, Joe?
The lights aren't on.
Okay. That's fine.
Fowler, aye.
Settler, aye.
So was I.
We'll just continue, I think, perhaps roll call. and-
Motion passes.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Chris, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris, for all your work.
Yes, thank you.
2? Okay.
Been a long process.
What's up here? Do you guys, was there anything else that you had for tonight? No? Did you have to come up tonight? No? Okay.
No, and I just want to listen.
Oh, no, absolutely, you're
Thank
more
you.
than welcome. I just want to make sure, because we're
We
running
have a
late.
visitor.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we didn't have anything outstanding here that we needed to address.
So what about the LED lights?
We'll
Town
get to that.
lights? Did you guys?
That's on the agenda here tonight, so. Okay. So let's go through the minutes of March 12th, April 9th.
Which one? We have executive session minutes?
Those, yeah, so the open meeting for the 12th of March and April 9th.
Well, two general sessions and then two executive sessions in the packet.
Right.
It's 4 sets of minutes.
Right,
Yep.
right. Well, Mr. Chair, unless you want to make a motion.
No, go ahead.
I'd make a motion that we accept the minutes from the Board of Selectmen's meeting on 9 April 2018, general session, as presented.
Wait a second.
Let me just get to that one. I'll second it, yeah.
Okay, discussion?
Let me just see the front cover, whether I had any changes on that. Okay. Yeah, if I may, Mr. Chair, on page 6, third line from the bottom, it says, Mr. Surface asked Mr. Fowler to bring a formal complaint to the board. I believe that was the chair, Mr. Bonavita. Well, you gotta go back, you went with 312, I thought, is that what I
No,
heard?
didn't. No,
He did April 9th.
I did April 9th. I didn't,
Oh, I think you did.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong one.
well.
April 9th, April 9th, I got nothing highlighted, I'm
That's
sorry.
fine. Let's just do April 9th.
I guess I just heard it
That
wrong.
was the motion, so. Okay, any
Just-
further discussion? All those in favor?
I'm gonna continue roll call in case Joe comes back on, what do you think? I'll say Fowler, aye.
Sadler, aye.
Oh, that's aye.
Okay. So we now have the minutes open session for March 12th.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make a,
You make the motion, Gary.
Mr. Chair, I move to accept the minutes for March 12th, 2018, with an exception of a correction on page 6. That fourth line up, I believe it was Mr. Bonavita, that, the chair, that asked me to bring a formal complaint to the board. With that correction, or any other corrections that we may discuss, if anyone else has any.
So, Gary, would you read what you're changing again?
Page 6 of
I'm
7,
on it.
okay. Fourth line up,
Yeah?
it says, Mr. Surface asked Mr. Fowler to bring a formal complaint to the board. I believe it was the chair. And actually, perhaps I made the motion wrong. I guess I could ask that Administrative Assistant Pontano just double check with the video, but that, my memory of it was that came from Mr. Bonavita.
I can check the video.
So, yeah, I mean, I would really ask that Janet review it if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Are you getting that?
Get a second.
Did we get a second? Maybe we shouldn't second it and you can just remake the motion. without that, and just have that for discussion for her to verify it,
If you,
considering we don't have a second.
yeah, if you want,
Do
I'll
that.
redo the motion since I move to have Administrative Assistant Pantano double check the minutes of the Board of Selectmen's meeting for 3/12/18 on page 6 of 7, on the 4th line up, where it says, Mr. Surface asked Mr. Fowler to bring a formal complaint to the board, and to see if there needs to be a correction there, and if there needs to be no correction, or if there needs to be a correction, that the correction be made, and otherwise that, and unless anybody else has any changes, that we accept the minutes.
So we're accepting the minutes subject to change?
Yeah, I guess that's it. That's easier said than what I did, yeah.
I think we need to make a motion to accept the minutes, and then during discussion, we can ask Janet to confirm. Can you make that motion? Doug?
Do we have a motion on the floor?
We have a motion on the floor, we don't have a second yet.
Okay, hearing no second, Mr. Chair, I would move that we accept the minutes of March 12th, 2018
As presented.
as presented.
Second.
Okay.
Discussion,
I'm
Gary?
confused, I thought we had an issue.
Well, the motion is to accept them as presented, so it would take out.
Discussion,
it
Gary.
would-
Discussion, ask to review that.
I will ask that they be reviewed on page 6 of 7.
Subject to review.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 I'll make no more motions.
Okay. Looks like we got executive session minutes for March 12th and March 15th.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I move that we accept the minutes from executive session, March 12th, 2018, as presented.
Which one are you doing, March 12th?
12th, yeah.
March 12th, 2018, executive session.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Yes. Are we now, what do we do with these now, Mike? Do we ask that they be sealed, or are these open to go?
We've taken care of the issues here, so they don't need to be sealed.
Okay. And then again, if I could just have discussion on just how, well, until we've approved them, they're executive sessions, I guess, so. Never mind.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. And then we have ones for March 15th.
Mr. Chair, I move that that we accept the minutes, executive session minutes from March 15, 2018, as presented.
Second.
Motion's been made, we have a second. Any discussion?
I see no need to seal these.
Hmm?
I see no need to seal these. The discussion is, we didn't discuss any, in the minutes, I did not refer to any specific security threats.
Yeah, all
Okay.
right, I
Just
should
general.
actually revise that for the for the joint meeting between the Board of Selectmen and the School Committee on March 15th.
I'll second that also.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. All right, looks like we have correspondence, LED roadway lighting letter from the planning board. Do we want to read that into the record, or was there anyone from planning that was gonna? No?
No, and you don't have to read it in the record.
Mr. Chair,
Mhm.
It's a free-
I would say that in the conclusion, the chair of the planning board is requesting the Georgetown Board of Selectmen I believe, have another meeting with the planning board to discuss this matter.
Let me just get it.
Yeah.
It's on.
Sorry. First, the board of selectmen to schedule another meeting to discuss this item for closure. Okay. So it looks like we really don't have to do anything there on that.
I have a question, though.
Sure.
Mike, when this letter came in, was a copy of this forwarded to the light department?
I don't know, was it CC'd?
I don't know, I just have,
No, it was not. It was for the
Okay.
selectmen and,
maybe we could send a letter over to the light department? Because we may want to have them here with that.
Yeah, if I
it's up
can,
to the board.
look, if I can, Mr. Chair, I don't know if it needs to be a motion, but I would ask that perhaps we keep this on as old business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's fine. And I think to Rob's point, he would like to have a meeting. So
Right.
if we think that we need to get any other departments involved, we can talk about that during that time.
Yeah, I think that if we have a meeting with the planning board, that we should have a member or two from the electric light.
Agreed.
I agree, yeah.
So then we can,
Certainly
we can
invite
put some
them, yeah.
closure to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we certainly can invite them, so
Yeah.
we can talk to Rob. Can you just send a quick note, Mike, to Rob, just asking him if he can invite the lead department?
Sure. So the next meeting is May, well, we can't
21st.
count the 7th.
Or, right,
On the 14th.
21st
21st is the next meeting.
Is-
21st.
is our next regular
So maybe we
meeting.
should ask them for the 21st? Put them on the agenda for the 21st of May?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I mean, we'll have to check with their schedule.
Either way, I mean, I'm open to, if they have an open meeting, we can attend that. If we want to have them here, that's fine.
Mr. Chairman, a question?
Sure,
So, correspondence, minutes, are those all public? Do you post them on your website?
Yes, sir, we do, yep.
So they're there, they're available?
Yeah, if you go on, the
minutes
Yeah?
agenda items are there today, the minutes are 30 days from the date of the meeting.
Okay. In the, like, the correspondence for the LED, the correspondence, would that show up there too?
I think that's a request that you need to make for the town, right? A request for
I
public
see.
documents, yeah.
We don't post the correspondence
Okay.
online.
Otherwise, the file server would probably blow up if we had all that.
Thank you.
So, sure.
So can we get a copy of this letter over to the electric light department superintendent?
If the board wants it,
To get
happy to.
The electric light department.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. I don't think it needs to be a formal motion, but,
Right.
you know.
I'm just asking, can we just
Well-
send that to them so they're aware of what's in the document?
Yeah, let's talk to Dave, to Rob and see if he has any issue with it. I mean, he did it
It's our letter now.
to us.
Well, it's up to us.
Right.
I don't see any reason why the electric light department can't have a copy of it,
Sure.
because there's certain requests
Yeah, sure.
that are made in it that would have a direct impact
If we're
on
asking them to come to a
Yeah,
meeting,
yeah,
then
just send it to
Yeah,
us.
neither do I didn't do it because Rob didn't copy them.
Right.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, good.
Okay.
I don't think we have to vote on anything there, right,
No.
Mike? No. Okay. So that was LED road light letter.
Can I ask, Mr. Chair, if the member of the audience, did you, maybe did he have any, you mentioned it earlier, did you have any comments or anything on
On what?
the lighting?
I have no knowledge of anything.
Oh, okay, I thought you
There's
mentioned it.
correspondence that I don't get to see.
Oh, okay, so you must have just seen it on the, okay,
Yeah.
on the agenda, all right, thank you.
But I like the whole idea. I hope that we're looking at payback before we decide to move forward with something like this.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Oh, we discussed this, yeah,
It's already in
Open
progress,
meeting, yeah.
so,
Yeah, the town put skin in the game, and they're just waiting for their last batch of lights to finish up the scope of work for that project.
It was, a lot of it was with grant money and little cost to the town to make the change, and there's a great savings on the electric bill that we pay.
Thank you.
The Elect manager mentioned the possibility, what was it, saving as much as 25% on the cost or more?
that was the
Initially-
requirement, yeah.
Initially, it was 25, he thinks it'll be closer to 50.
Yeah.
We do try to save where we can.
All right, great. All right, so do we want to go over? No, review? No, we'll wait till
Well, we
everyone's
should
on.
wait till-
Yeah, wait till everyone's on, okay. The spring and summer schedule. So it looks like, we have proposed dates here of June 11th, 25th, July 16th, August 13th, September 10th, and September 24th. I know I won't be here on the 25th, but I think every other date here looks good to me. Do you have any questions on that?
Just that our policies and procedures state that we should have 2 meetings a month. We're only scheduling 1 a month and for 2 months in the summer. I know they can be light, but I still don't see why, I fail to understand why we waiver. We end up here many nights coming in at 6 and going home at who knows when. So,
Yeah, I mean, for just only being on the board for 2 years, I know the idea is just because that's kind of vacation schedule and it's hard to get everyone together, but I think, to your point, we can certainly wait until the entire board is back and,
Thank you.
and we can discuss it then, yep. Okay. Town administrators report.
Okay,
Can you fill in those
oh, yeah,
marks?
you have the book and page.
Yeah, it's on the warrant.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna, I'm passing out the final and posted annual town, a special town meeting warrant. That hasn't changed in a long time.
Okay, let's see, receive.
And this is the annual town meeting warrant as posted. Legal has made some changes. It doesn't change the purpose of any of the warrant articles. There was a question on the plastic bag article, because there was mention of styrofoam.
Which was,
Article 19, page 8 of 38.
Mm-hmm.
And we checked the minutes, and the board did vote to include styrofoam containers in the plastic bag ban. So as not to be confusing, legal counsel split them into 2 separate articles. 19 and 20.
Oh, so
And
21.
is,
Really?
can I ask a question, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that okay, since it was already voted on and then signed for being posted, and now we've changed it?
According to legal,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they did that.
Yeah.
We didn't. Because
I mean, kinda, I don't understand the reasoning. I mean, it was presented to us, I thought you got it from them, and they gave it to us as one, and then later changed it. Are they just, we haven't paid them enough this year, or what?
he meant, hardly. It was meant to be an either or. And you adopted it as
Both,
both.
so?
So he wanted to make it clear that you were doing both.
Okay.
That was the explanation I got.
Yeah, I could possibly maybe support one of them.
And are all the, this is the first time I'm seeing it
This
here.
is the final draft.
Are all the, like, the penalties, I mean, administration, enforcements, are those all consistent with the plastic bag ban?
I believe.
Yes.
Okay, so there isn't anything there
50,
that has
100.
changed?
Yeah, 50,
300.
100, 300.
Okay.
Written warning, first offense.
So,
And,
and everything we took off is off? I mean, I haven't compared it since we're
Yes.
first getting it, yeah, 'cause,
yep.
okay.
What was the issue we were talking about today?
Well, there was one
Oh,
for.
the road acceptance.
Well, before we get to that, Mike, so this is the final, because I see red lines in here. It's, like, if you look at page
That's,
12 and 13,
Yeah, I think
it's
it's.
like we redlined a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah, that
That's-
that has
That's
to,
staying?
yeah,
Yeah,
that's to show the voters
Change.
what we're
Change.
Oh, okay,
striking
I'm sorry.
and what we're
Yeah.
adding.
I'm sorry, I thought it was just edits that we were
Yeah,
making.
no.
Okay. So that's what's there existing, and then we're striking that from the
Correct.
existing bylaw. Okay. Makes sense. Okay.
and so if we wanna remember how we voted on these, we'll bring our minutes that we got tonight, because the one that gets printed doesn't show how we voted to go forward, correct?
I thought we're doing that.
that will go in the one that goes in the finance and advisory, the book.
Do they put that in there, or,
They
like,
put it on.
sometimes they've just been putting their own? Oh, you're doing it all, okay. So that will be
They
on,
don't put 'em in.
so that will be on there,
Our-
what's presented,
Our
okay.
votes in there.
Well, I haven't put them in yet. No,
Okay.
you reminded me, but usually we do.
Okay, great.
Yeah, this is just the official posting document.
We don't put it on the
You-
posting
Yeah, you
document.
can't make
So
political
can I ask,
statements
so
on it.
is this isn't what's posted now, though? but-
Yes, it is.
Oh,
It was posted on,
Today.
yeah,
oh, and the signatures is next to it?
yes.
It's
Okay.
attached, the signature page is attached to
Okay.
it. Yeah, so that is posted. And then, But the
So,
FinCom book will have the votes.
yeah, so everything else is, nothing else has changed. There is a legal issue, when I was talking with legal counsel today regarding the road acceptance. He mentioned to me, he said, well, did the selectmen's layout, was that given to the town clerk along with a copy of the
That we've
plan?
never, that we've never seen.
And I said, I don't think so. They said, well, for it to,
What page is that on, Mike?
That's on 26, it's Article 24.
to be, should I say, without challenge, the board should, and this, I gave a copy of this to the chairman, the assistant acting chair. Steve, if you look in
Yeah, do we
exit
have those?
number 24,
Yep.
you can fill in those page numbers for the motion.
Okay. All right, so let's see, we have to make this, motion to, for the recorded definitive plan. So this relates to Article 24, the street acceptance of the Turning Leaf subdivision. So the motion is to lay out as public ways in the town, those roadways known as Lisa Lane, Vineyard Land, Grapevine Circle, in the manner depicted on the definitive subdivision plan entitled Lisa Lane, Vineyard Lane, and Grapevine Circle. In the manner depicted on, okay, dated January 15, 2018, recorded with the registry in Plan Book
445.
445 and Plan 49 as further depicted on that plan of land entitled Street Acceptance Plan of Turning Leaf Subdivision, Georgetown, Mass. Owner applicant, Turning Leaf Georgetown LLC, dated January 15th, 2018, prepared by Williams and Spragues, is it? Spragus? 180 North Main Street, Suite 101, Middleton, Mass. 01949, and to direct that a copy of this vote and layout plans reference therein be placed on file with the town clerk no later than 7 days prior to May 7, 2018, and herein vote being construed as may be required to ratify and confirm the actions taken by this board on April 23rd, 2018, with respect to said layouts by its vote to approve the warrant for the May 7th, 2018 annual town meeting.
Second.
That was a long one. A motion and a second. Any discussion?
Why are we doing this?
Advice from town council
To do
has
this
said
tonight or
that
to
we
do this
need.
at the town meeting? That's what I'm asking.
No,
We
it
have to
has
do
to
it
be
now to put it on the
done
warrant.
at least 7 days before town meeting.
Okay, thank you.
To lay out the public way. That's what we're doing now.
The one we've never seen.
Yeah, I've never seen this.
I've been through there on a fire truck just like.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, we'll have a motion in a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Fowler, aye.
Motion
we don't
passes.
need that.
All right.
Okay.
So is there anything else? that we
Yeah,
get,
so I
Mike? Yeah?
gave you the, both
All right.
meeting warrants,
All right.
and this is the final budget
I know.
document.
My notebook is straining.
The bottom line hasn't changed, but I had to make some adjustments in that I made some adjustments a while back having to do with the interest and debt, what was the debt service. We were delaying the borrowing until next fiscal year. But there were two places that need to be adjusted. I adjusted the debt service, but it did not adjust the debt exclusions. And the bottom line is the debt exclusions were reduced by 32,439. So I had to make an adjustment in the expenditures. And I told you last meeting, we were able to put back the joint maintenance program.
Right.
And that's the only place I had any wiggle room in the budget. So I had to take $32,000 out of that and see if we can get some additional funds in the fall.
Okay. Did we add in that extra, that extra 13,000 was chapter 70, was it? No, when they finalized the budget?
I did not add that because
Oh, you didn't add that?
it's.
Well, it's still, yeah.
Yeah, they haven't even voted on it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's, the Senate gets their whack at it.
Yeah.
And then they reconcile all three budgets in July.
So we'll keep that out for now.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
adjust that in the fall if it stays in.
That stays, so that could help with this.
Yes,
with
it
this
could.
piece, yeah. Okay.
Question? So on the third page in, Mike, administration and finances, I guess, personnel services, there's some increases, is that where that position is going? Is that why there's a hefty increase in those two?
No, the purchase of services is what
Yeah, yeah.
decreased. The change from the last item that you saw probably did not include the $16,000. No, that went into the planning board. That were, the only changes that were made in personnel services for admin and finance was the $44,000
Yeah. and-
for yeah, that's in there.
That's for the, so that's what's under that, I guess, that,
Yeah,
you're going from 521 to 577.
Yes.
That's where you're covering it, and that
Yeah.
is for the HVAC guy, basically.
No, that's for the Massachusetts Equal Pay Act.
Oh, okay.
The
Okay, so even though it's showing up on ours, it's going out to,
it will be it's a pay adjustment line in the administration, and it will be.
Okay.
Once it's passed, we'll do.
then it will go into all the other,
Changes to the other
line items. So
departments.
that's just where you're carrying that change.
Yeah, so I just
Okay.
made one change, so I didn't have to
Okay.
change 11 other budgets.
And so the HVAC guy is showing,
That was in the purchase of services
okay,
in admin.
yeah, because, okay, yeah, said there's 45 there, going from 855 to 900.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Sure. So, that's where we are with the budget and the warrant.
Okay. So what's the excess, Mike? The excess was 13?
$13,000, and that's for, when the Board of Assessors sets the tax rate, they usually set it to like, it comes out to maybe 4 decimal points, and they keep it at 2 decimal points, so there's a rounding error there.
Okay.
So that's some wiggle room for the
Gotcha.
rounding error.
Okay.
The Board of the Assistant Assessor asked me to give them, at least 13,000
Sure.
for the adjustment.
Okay. So do we wait until our next meeting for any type of vote on the budget, or?
No, well, you can vote at our next meeting to
Right.
support the budget.
Yeah, that's what I
Yes.
was, that's what I was
Yeah.
referencing, okay. All right. You guys have any other questions on there?
No.
Okay, so I think that's right now, so the, Mike Farrell's review, we're gonna wait until we're all present, all board members, so we're passing over that. The next meeting will be Monday, May 7th, at 6 PM, and that'll be at the middle high school for the annual town meeting. And then we have one on the 21st of May, which, 7 PM, the third floor, meeting room here in Town Hall. Maybe we can go around the room if you guys have anything that you wanted to talk about. Start with you, Gary.
No, I am fine. Finances wound down, CPA meetings have wound down, but now Mr. Dawes has given us something to go to, that's an open and public, tomorrow night at the school. I don't, not from you, but you're on that.
That was from the Georgetown Cares Coalition
Yeah,
Committee.
so I've
They
got,
have the survey that was done, the 40 developmental assets survey that was done at the school. And the students will be presenting the results of that. And then, I think this year, or, well, in this next fiscal year, I believe there'll be a community survey that goes out on the same thing. And then, let me see. Thursday night, I have a Board of Directors meeting for the Veteran Services District. There's nothing really going on there, we're just trying to set goals and, for the VSO and the office. The budget was already accepted. There's not much else happening there.
All right, do you guys have anything else, in terms of closing out open session, are we,
I think we might need advice from on how we
are
do
we
that.
interested to do executive session and finish up or no?
Well, we have an executive session to do.
To return to, and I'd be happy if we
Return
went
to.
back to the second floor on that too, right? Is that how we'll do it?
We have, because there's still
Yeah,
people.
Yeah, you never know
control room.
what's right. You never
Yeah,
know what a mic is
we
left
should,
on.
Vote to go into,
To return?
So close the open and go back into,
well, no,
No.
don't close the meeting.
Yeah.
You-
Close
you
them, that's
vote
right.
to
Oh,
go
to return
into
to executive?
executive session, and you announce that we will not be returning
okay.
to public session.
Get that, Doug?
Procedures. Procedures.
So moved.
And it's a roll call vote.
Sadler,
Doris,
aye?
yes.
Sadler, aye?
Fowler, aye.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Sir,
Thanks, guys.
I have a extra copy of that
I'd love to see it. Thank you.
letter.